all there we are. Hopefully you guys are all in the right place. Here we are officially commencing the 24-25 University Mental Health Charter Program. So for those of you who've been with us before, it is so lovely to see you all again. I've seen some familiar names, and those that I have yet to meet, I am really excited that you are going to be joining us this year. We've got a lot in store, so the session will kind of walk you through what you can expect as a program member. So welcome, and we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to introduce our lovely and growing team. Some of these faces will be familiar if you've been with us before, and some of them are new, and I'm so pleased to introduce them to you. We've got a few of the colleagues here with us today, so if you see any of their names, feel free to say hello to us. So first up, we have Emily Van Vliet, who's our sector improvement lead. We've got Shanae Hockley, who has moved into a new role. She is now the program manager for evaluation and development, which is very exciting for us. There's me. I'm the program manager for the University Mental Health Charter Program. My name is pronounced Chasten Webster. And then we've got Amanda Lillefelt. She is the program manager for the award. And new to our team full-time, we've got Charlotte Mee here. She's our program coordinator for the program and the hub. We've got Naima Brandow, who's our program support officer. Dan Thompson, who we've pulled across from Student Minds and has joined us as the program coordinator for the award, and Chanel Bateman, who's joining us as the program liaison officer. That is a mouthful. But if you were with us last year, we've almost doubled in size. So really fantastic for us and what that means for you guys. So for today's session, this is the agenda. We're going to do our welcome and our introductions. Then I will give you an overview of the University Mental Health Charter work. We'll deep dive into the University Mental Health Charter program. We'll talk about the University Mental Health Charter Award, some new and exciting updates with our reports package and 5-year anniversary. I will also do a mini navigation of our online platform that we call the Hub, and we'll have space at the end of the session for any questions that you guys have. So if you do have questions throughout the session, feel free to go ahead and send them in the chat. And we will answer them at the end of the session. For any question that maybe we want to confirm details with you, or any question that we weren't able to cover in this session, we will make sure to respond to those and get you those answers so you're not left hanging. I also wanted to say, I'll show you how to navigate our online platform that we call the Hub, but the majority of the information relevant to the program side of this work can be found in our program handbook. So that is a resource that I'll show you on the Hub there. These slides will also be available for you, so if you're wanting to just follow the link there once the slides are available, perfectly fine if that works for you. Right, so many of you are probably familiar with the University Mental Health Charter. Some of you might be new to this, but I'm really excited to talk about what we've got going on, but I thought it would be helpful to make sure that we are all on the same playing field and know what we're talking about when we discuss the different aspects of the charter work. So I'm going to give you a brief overview. Student Minds' original vision when developing the University Mental Health Charter framework was for all universities to adopt a whole university approach to mental health and well-being, and to become places that promote the mental health and well-being of all of the members of the community. So that includes staff and students. So why a whole university approach? So we recognize that mental health is impacted by everything that we already engage with. So this might be our surroundings or the activities and behaviors of those around us, or the social connections we have or have yet to make. So to address mental health and well-being fully and seriously, we want universities to consider all of these aspects holistically. So to consider, the physical, the social, the cultural, and the personal aspects of, being at a university, whether you're a staff, a student, a visitor, all of those aspects. So thinking fundamentally is incredibly important because we recognize that all of those aspects are interconnected, which if you ask some of our returning program members might be a sticking point, might be a point of frustration. I think we like to say embrace the mess because there is a lot of interconnection between all of these different aspects. So that's why we ask universities to think about the whole university. So UMHC, the University Mental Health Charter, that is an umbrella term, and that includes all three elements of our work. So that includes the charter framework, the charter program, and the charter award. So when you are talking about any one of these aspects, we just ask that you're clear and specific. If you are referencing all three areas of work, all three prongs of the University Mental Health Charter, please do feel free to say University Mental Health Charter or charter work. However, if you're specifically referencing the framework or the program or the award or any combination of them, do join us in being very clear and specific in your language so that there's no confusion for anybody involved. So I'm going to walk us through very quickly what each of these three prongs are. But if you wanted to explore more on your own, I've got the hyperlink down there at the bottom that you can follow once these slides are available. So the first prong or the first area of work is our framework. So this is an evidence-informed framework. It was developed out of consultation with stakeholders across the United Kingdom in trying to decide what are the most relevant and most helpful aspects. So this has been developed out of intense and laborious research, and many of our program members here took part in that, or a few of them took part in that. So really excited for that. This framework encompasses principles of good practice, which are some of the more actionable steps for universities when they're looking to implement a whole university approach to mental health and well-being. And really, we want the principles of good practice and the elements of the framework to serve as a reference point for those universities. So unfortunately, it is not a tick box exercise. And it is quite broad when you look at the different principles of good practice that are available. And the reason for that is because we want it to be adaptable to your institution's specific context. So one example might be, in the framework, we discuss residential accommodation for students, and your institution might not be one that offers residential accommodation, but your students will live somewhere. So it's trying to get you to think outside of the box. So that's the framework there. It's made to be adaptable, and it is the only one of three areas of work that are publicly available for people to use and access and adapt to their own context. And we have had stakeholders use elements of it outside of the HE sector. So it's really strong, withstanding framework there. And secondly, we've got the University Mental Health Charter Program. So that's what you guys are taking part in. It is a voluntary program for higher education institutions. The main purpose is to support our program members, our universities, to embed a whole university approach to mental health and well-being through a variety of offerings that primarily center on peer support and practice sharing. And all of the offerings that we have available, they are optional, and they are opportunities for institutions to engage in, but we recognize that every institution moves at their own pace. So all of those opportunities are optional for you to engage in when and if you are available. The last prong, and I won't touch much on this because you'll hear a little bit more about it later in the session from my colleague Emily, is our University Mental Health Charter Award. So this is the accreditation opportunity, and it is entirely voluntary. It is up to each individual institution to decide if they would ever like to undertake it, and when they might want to do so, if that's the decision that they've chosen. So it's there, and engagement in that is optional. Our program members don't ever have to do it. And if you decide to do so, again, there's no time frame from our side on when you should undertake that. The benefit of the award is that it recognizes and it encourages ongoing improvement, and it supports building an evidence base of excellent practice, and it provides recommendations on how you can continue to improve your approach. So as I said, I'll end it there. You'll hear a little bit more about this later in the session. And before I move any further into discussing the program, I just wanted to touch on some improvements that we've had. So any of our program members who have joined us previously, or those who have thought about joining us but maybe didn't commit until this year, I'm really pleased to share some of the exciting work that we've been able to do in terms of improving our program. So we've been really, really fortunate to receive quite a significant amount of funding from the Office for Students, and we've already put that to incredible use. So keep your eye out. You might hear about some of these delivery improvements. Some I've already touched on. But we hope to touch base at the end of the program year and see how you're feeling then, once we've been able to really make use of that funding. So some of the different elements there, we've expanded our team, we've improved some of our program events, and we've increased some of our offerings. We've got a light touch review coming of the framework, which you'll hear a bit about. We've also got our reports package coming. So again, a little teaser, you'll hear about it later. We've also been able to streamline our communication and use and develop our online platform, as well as we've been able to develop our award delivery. So lots of exciting improvements, and I think what's even more exciting is that it's not all encompassing. So I am truly pleased to say that this year is going to be a really, really fun, packed year for all of us. So for those who are new and returning, I'm going to walk you through some of the offerings that the program has available. So these are some of those opportunities that you can engage in. Again, they're all optional. And a lot more information about these can be found on our hub. And during the hub demonstration, I'll show you how to find those. So if you feel like something hasn't been covered, do ask questions, but also feel free to have a look through some of the different resources we have available for you. So one of the biggest offerings that we have for the, excuse me, University Mental Health Charter Program are our events. So this is the area that I primarily oversee. And we have 4 different types of events that we will plan for our program members. So these are the 4 of them. We've got our practice sharing, our insight sharing, our communities of practice, and our award workshop events all coming up. And in the next couple of slides, I'm going to walk you through what each of those are. So first up, we've got our in-person practice sharing events. So these are what we might call our conferences. These happen 4 times a year, and we've tried to spread them out throughout the year. We've also tried to spread them out across the UK. So we've got some all over. You can check on the event registration pages for where those will be held. Each of these events will focus on one of the 4 domains of the framework. So it might look at the live domain, the work domain, learn, or support domain. For initial registration, we're asking each institution to send 1 representative or 1 delegate to each event. Again, it's all optional. We also have implemented a waitlist ticket option on the registration page. So if you have other colleagues who are eager to go and you've got the resources and means to do that, go ahead and get your colleagues registered as a waitlist ticket. Because 3 weeks before the event takes place, we will allocate the waitlist tickets to anybody who needs a ticket if we've got some remaining. So have a look at that. Our first event is going to take place on the 26th of November in Leeds. So really excited and hope you guys will join us there. Our other set of events are our online insight sharing sessions. So these are online and they might be a bit more accessible for some of our program members. We have 6 of them per year, and they last for about an hour and a half. At each of these events, we'll have some element of discussion or reflection or peer support within that. And largely, these sessions will focus on new or upcoming research and publications. So we've got our first one coming up on the 26th of October. Again, that's online, so have a look, register, and see what the topic will be. We also are allowing multiple representatives from universities to attend. Because this is an online space, we can accommodate a few more individuals. But again, we would ask you to think a bit strategically about who might be best placed to join or who might be able to disseminate information, bearing in mind that there will be some discussion element of these sessions. So making sure that those colleagues are equipped to join and share in the discussions. Our other events are our communities of practice. So I'm going to focus on this one for 2 slides because there's quite a bit of information. But again, I'm going to signpost to our online platform where you can learn a bit more about what these are. But if you were with us last year, our communities of practice were a pilot element of the program. We listened to feedback from program members, we did some research with them, and then we developed the communities of practice. And now I'm really pleased to say that these have been embedded into the program going forward. So the way this will work is we have 6 meetings per year. And at each of those meetings, we're going to talk about either one of the themes under the 4 domains or one of the enabling themes. So it's going to be more directed on one of those themes there. And we've split up our program members to be in 8 different communities. So you will have your set community group. We've labeled them A through H, so not very creative there. But so we've got communities of practice A through H, and you can go on, I'll show you in a moment where you can find your specific group. And we did look at university demographics, and we tried to spread out universities with awards and to ensure that a university, for example, with a specific demographic, like a small specialist institution, is not in community of practice group on their own. We've tried to add at least 2 to 3 others with similar demographics in that group. So maintaining high engagement across the program is really important to make these effective spaces to share practice and strategize how you can, develop new interventions going forward. We are asking that we limit this to 1 representative per university, though. So you'll see 8 groups for as large as our institution size is. It's still quite large, so we really need to make sure we limit it to 1 space. But what we have done is created a designated space on our online platform, the hub, for each group to meet and to share practice. So if you wanted to engage with more colleagues there, we will show you how to access that. On the hub, again, we'll make sure you have links to all of this, but on the hub, this is what the document with meeting dates, your specific community of practice group is, and what the topics will be focused on. We've got the registration links, and then we've also added on the link to join your dedicated group on the hub. as I said, we've got those dedicated groups. So this is roughly what they look like. They're all labeled Group A through Group H there for you. So what you'll need to do is using the link here at the bottom, or again, we'll make sure to follow up with you after the session to provide you the links to it. You go on, you find your university and which group you're in, and then you request to join that specific group on that page. And so when you click on that link, you'll have the link to join the hub group. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. And lastly, we've got our award workshop. So this is the last of the events that I'm going to talk about that are built into our program. These are online workshops, primarily, primarily targeted and used for universities who have formally expressed interest in undertaking the award assessment. For those universities, we are asking, or we have moved to make it mandatory, if you have said you are going to undertake the award assessment, to attend one of these award workshops. But for other individuals who are interested, they're also available for you. And actually, if you want to learn more about the whole university approach, I strongly recommend you join our first award workshop, which will be taking place next week. No worries, I will remind you a few times throughout the session on how to find that and where, but that is available for you. A lot of these events that I've talked about, to find them in the registration and register for them, they can all be found in one common place when you access our online space. You need to create an account and request to join our group. But once you've done that, you can easily locate the all of the events that are planned and ready for registration on the hub there. And during the hub walkthrough, I will show you how to do that. If it's easier to save the URL I've got at the bottom, please, again, feel free to do that. And this is roughly what the event registration page looks like. Lastly, we've got our newsletter. So we have moved to making our newsletters monthly. So previously they were run quarterly, but we've had a close look at our communications, and we really want to strategize and streamline our communications for you all. So we've moved to making monthly publications of our newsletters. Our first one's going to be out on the 4th of October. All of the registered contacts at the point of program registration will be automatically enrolled in the newsletter. So it will act as an opt-out version. So if you receive it and you no longer wish to receive it, that's fine. You can just scroll down to the bottom of the newsletter when it comes and unenroll from those, just like you would any other newsletter there. And included in our newsletter will be event summaries or follow-ups, event registration reminders, some news or sector insights. You'll also hear some updates from Student Minds and other relevant links or resources. And just to say, if you have anything exciting going on in your institution that you want to share, or you've got some work going on, email us and we will include it in the next publication. So again, it's another opportunity for you guys to engage in sharing good practice. Right, we've got 2 more offerings that I'm going to lightly touch on, but again, I want to direct you to looking at these on the hub in a bit more detail. The first one is our journey reviews, and we've already gotten some inquiries about this, so I'm really excited to share the update of that for you. So one of the offerings that is available for program members who don't have an award, I promise we'll get to the universities who do have an award in a moment. But for those who don't have an award, this is an opportunity available for you. So it serves as a point of reflection to look at your achievements, your challenges, and to think about future plans. You're also able to use this as a means to share work and seek support on specific challenges. So we've got a template available and we've got instructions for how to complete it. You complete that with your relevant working group or team or whoever is supporting you in this, and then you submit it to us. And you will then be invited to take part in a 1-hour meeting with a member of Student Minds and 2 other universities in a pilot meeting. So previously this was a one-to-one meeting, but we've moved to make it a group meeting so that we can really encourage deep practice sharing and keep it at a small group size. For that meeting, we're also asking for institutions to prepare one innovative piece of work and one challenge that they've got going on. So if you would like to take part in our group meeting, the group will commence on the 20th of November. If you'd like to take part, you just need to complete this template and send it to us by the 30th of October. It is a first come, first served basis because we want to keep this pilot quite small. So, you know, if you want to make sure you're included in that, go ahead and start thinking about completing that and getting it over to us. Similarly, we've got the annual report. So this is for our program members who have an award currently. So it will run very similarly to a journey review, and that it will be an opportunity to reflect on your achievements, your challenges, and your future work. However, it will also include an element of risk assessing and seeing if there have been any changes in your institution since receiving an award. And whether you or your team might need support. So as I said, more information is available on the template, and more information on this process will come in due time. But we hope that this space will offer an opportunity to reflect and also an opportunity to meet with other program members and share work again. So this is going to be our only dedicated space for program members with an award to really engage with each other. So again, we're asking for you to prepare one innovative piece of work and one challenge as well. If you received an award from an award panel, then your annual report will be due on the 31st of January. Do not worry though, our team will reach out to you and make sure that you know what's expected of you and when. But this is just a heads up for those of you who did receive an award at that period of time. And lastly, this isn't necessarily an offering, but this is more of an ask. If you registered and you've had some turnover, or maybe you've had some new members join you, or people join your working group in this area, and you need to update your contact information, please do keep your contacts up to date. That really helps us in streamlining our communication, making sure the relevant colleagues are getting the most relevant information. So you can fill in the QR code there and complete the form. But if you have any questions, you can always email us at charter@studentminds.org.uk, and we will support you in that. This is also on the hub permanently, so that link down below is available for you. And you can also find this on the hub if you need to update your contacts at any point throughout the year. So I think that is enough from me. And I'm going to invite Emily here to walk you through the next couple sections of this welcome session, firstly focusing on the awards. So I will go ahead and turn it over to you, Emily.
Thank you, Justin. For those of you who weren't here just at the start of the meeting, or you have forgotten, when she introduced our team, I will reintroduce myself. So I am the Sector Improvement Lead at Student Minds, which means I lead the team of staff who deliver all aspects of the charter work. So I'm going to talk to you first a little bit about the University Mental Health Charter Award and what that really means for institutions going through that process, and also, even if you're not feeling quite ready to go through that process yet, just a bit of information around, you know, what's the process look like, and also some of the key changes that have taken place whilst we've been doing some development and improvement work as well. Could I have the next slide, please, Justin? Thank you. So to recap, the University Mental Health Charter Award is bringing together sort of university staff, students, and assessments teams to do sort of three crucial things. So that process is to assess the university against the principles of good practice within the framework. So team of assessors are really looking at how well the universities are meeting those principles of good practice, how they're responding to it, and what types of things that they've been putting into place, which really kind of meet those requirements. Also, the award is looking to understand those strengths and also areas of development to inform ongoing improvement within the university. So it's not just about a tick boxing exercise, but it's really assessors are looking to see how well universities are really acknowledging those areas for development and continued improvement. And also the award is recognising universities that demonstrate excellent practice and approaches to staff and student mental health. Can I have the next slide, please, Justin? Thank you. So the award process is, as I said, really quite a continual improvement model. We're looking at, obviously, we're looking at a university a snapshot in time, but as you can see, it's a kind of model of continual improvement. And even universities who achieve the award, they then need to go and have a reassessment after 5 years. We're always looking to see where universities are improving and what they're doing to make those changes. So I'll talk you through step by step what that award process looks like. It starts when universities express to us their interest in taking part in the award. And I'll talk to you in a minute about the cohort model and the dates and things across the year of when that's available. But the first thing the university does is submit a self-assessment report, and that's against those areas of the key principles of good practice against the framework. So they're really assessing their own areas of development within that. Once they've submitted a self-assessment, there is a period of time for peer assessment. So we have 3 assessors that go in to do the award assessment process. We have a student assessor and then 2 assessors, one who has an academic background and one with more clinical background. So they are reading through the self-assessment, they're looking to see those areas of development and looking to explore that further when they come to the on-site visit. We have a 2-day on-site visit for the assessors, and during that time they're hearing from staff and students through things like forums and group discussions, and they also tour the university as well, chance to ask for extra information, extra evidence, that kind of thing. And then the assessors go away and bring together their outcomes report, which is really highlighting those key areas of good practice and also areas for improvement. And they share with the university their recommended outcome, which is then ratified by an award panel who are recognising the hard work that they're doing with either an award in progress is another outcome that can be given by the award panel and assessors, and that's when universities are sort of nearly there but might have a few little bits of extra work that need to be embedded across the coming sort of 12 months. And as I said, it's really a process of continual improvement. So we're always looking for and supporting universities to continually embed those improvement processes as they're going along, even when achieving an award, really kind of looking to see how are we continuing to improve things for our staff and our students. Okay, bring me on to the next slide, please, Justin. Thank you very much. So we've been doing a lot of work over the last sort of 6 months since expanding the team to really make things much better for universities going through the award process, and a lot of response from the feedback that we've received from universities. We're moving away from a bespoke model where we put timelines together for assessment sort of as and when they come with universities. And again, this is in response to the sort of quite quickly growing numbers of programme members that we've seen, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, the rise in the amount of universities that feel that they're ready to go through the award. So we've moved to a 2 cohort model, which essentially means that we're going to take groups of universities through the award, and we do that twice each year. So just to give you an overview here, so cohort A in the year, so the first cohort, which would be initially 6 universities, possibly more, once we've kind of tested the model. They submit the self-assessment in September, and their site visit will be in November, and then sort of end of January, early February is when they receive their outcomes report, and then March would be the award panel. And then likewise, cohort B, so the second wave in the year, can submit in January, the site visits in March, the outcome report is received in May, and the award panel is in July. What this means is we've got really, really clear timelines in place, a really long time in advance, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're able to offer universities the opportunity to secure their place on the award assessment quite far in advance, with some really clear timelines, with exact weeks and dates in the diaries. And it means that we've reduced the waiting time between outcome awards being shared with universities and then the award being ratified at the award panel. So essentially not very long to wait now between sort of starting and ending the process, which was a bit longer before. So there is an opportunity to book into the cohort model still. We do have a few spaces left for next year, so programme year 25-26. I'm just noticing a comment. Yes, so 6 universities per cohort, yeah, at the moment, although we are anticipating that hopefully to be growing and taking more universities through at a time. So yeah, there are a couple of spaces left still for next year. So there is an opportunity to complete the expression of interest form online. And again, we'll share all the links with you. Okay, can you move me on to the next slide, please, Chaston? Thank you. There'll be an opportunity for Q&A at the end. So if you've got some questions about all this, we can answer it at the end for you. So I'm really excited to share with you that we've got our 5-year anniversary coming up in December, which will be 5 years since the framework was published. A lot has changed for us during that time, and we have grown at a really quite substantial rate, with programme members and universities going through the award, which has been absolutely fantastic. And we've seen a lot of changes, and as Chaston said, our team has grown in order for us to really deliver a good quality service for universities who are joining us and to really help them on that journey. And that's thanks to funding from the Office for Students, which has really helped us to sort of accelerate that growth. So we are, as part of this sort of 5-year anniversary, have been doing a lot of evaluation work. Could you bring us onto the next slide, please, Chaston? Thank you so much. So I want to share with you some of the pieces of work that have been ongoing recently, which we'll be sharing with the sector in December, but actually kind of gives quite an overview around some of the areas of development, but also some of the key learnings that have come out of this process of universities going through the award. We've got some great insights that are coming out, and actually being able to draw out some really kind of key areas of good practice that we'd love to share with the sector and share with universities, so that we can really kind of deepen the work that we're doing as a whole collective. The first thing is that the framework has been reviewed. That it has now been completed and is with the designers. So we'll be sharing that with you in the website in the coming weeks. It's been 5 years since the framework was first published. And a review essentially means that we've been doing a literature review and gathering evidence published since 2019, and it's kind of covering both sort of white and grey literature, as well as updated guidance and frameworks. So that's been conducted by some of our research team, and is nearly ready to share. I think it's really important to highlight that most of the first edition remains intact. So there's no real changes to the structure. So the domains and themes remain the same, and almost all the principles of good practice as well, that the University Mental Health Charter awards are assessed against. Obviously won't make a difference to those universities who are going through award assessments now, but the key changes involve updates to the accompanying text, particularly within each theme, and they kind of align new evidence and principles and guidance to improve a lot of clarity as well, and that's based on a lot of the sector feedback that we've received. Some of the introductory sections have been revised to better reflect the current sector experience, and the changes and understanding since 2019. A lot has changed since then, not least a lockdown and COVID, etc. So I think, the ways of which universities have worked have changed quite dramatically during that time. There is one change that has been made to the principles of good practice by adding a new principle in theme 1, which is around transitions to university. So you'll find that when you have a look, and that's been very clearly highlighted within the framework. but the change sort of reflects the shift in thinking that universities should adopt to their students rather than expecting students to adopt to existing university practices. But otherwise, the framework remains largely the same as the original edition. So there's two other pieces of work that's been ongoing, one of which is the UCLAN evaluation report for the charter work. Thanks to the funding that we received quite some time ago now, the University of Central Lancaster, I've struggled with that word, Lancaster, had undertaken some research over the last 3 years, and they've been really exploring the impact and learning from the programme and the award process. And they've made some recommendations for future development improvement based on that. So we've got 3 years worth of research that we're really keen to share with the sector, and also some responses as to what the changes that we've made, and also some of the things that we've put in place to support universities with some of those challenges. Likewise, another piece of work that's ongoing at the moment is the University Mental Health Charter Assessment Insights Report. So when universities go through an assessment process, they get given this award outcome report, which is what I was just talking to you about. What we've done is collated all of the awards outcomes reports from across all of the universities that have gone through assessment process so far. And our researchers are looking at and understanding and evaluating where those key principles of good practice are to be seen, where we can improve practice, where things need to be developed, and where there's common themes. So bringing all these 3 pieces of work together for the sector to really kind of underline what development and improvements are being made to the charter, and also what we can offer to support the sector with as well. So in December, we'll be really pleased to share all 3 pieces of work. The framework obviously will come out before then, but bringing them together as a reports package on our website, and we'll be hosting an online session as well to really kind of celebrate and hear from keynote speakers with some of the key researchers that have been undertaking that work. I think, could I just have the last slide there, Chaston? Oh, great. Yeah, so as I said, we're publishing the reports package and our improvement plan and hosting the online webinar. Just finalising the dates for that now, so it'll be shared with you very soon. Okay, could you move me on to the final slide in this section? Thank you. So some key areas for development and what you as programme members can expect. Well, we have been developing the Library of Learning online and sharing insights. We recognise that universities are really keen to hear from one another and really keen to hear and learn from best practice. So we've been bringing together case studies, both from universities who are award holders and also non-award holders universities who have some innovative ideas, some new different ways of demonstrating principles of good practice and embedding really a whole university approach to support students and staff's well-being. So we'll be on the Library of Learning, we'll be delivering some educational webinars as well on there. We'll be having some recorded sessions. We've got some In Conversation With series as well. We'll be talking to various different researchers or people within the sector who have got some interesting thoughts to share with us and conversations around some of these key topics that keep coming up within the framework that might be a bit more challenging for programme members to respond to within their university. So we're really excited to be offering this. It's a work in progress. The team are working really hard behind the scenes to develop this. So the Library of Learning will be on the Hub live very soon. And you'll see we'll be drip feeding bits of resources as we go on throughout the year, and we'll be really focusing on those key domains and themes within that as well. Okay, I shall pass back over to Chaston. She's going to talk to you a little bit more about the Hub.
Make sure I unmute myself. Great, Emily, thank you so much for giving everybody an overview of the award process. Amanda's here, but she has lots going on, so she's not been able to present that area of work, and equally talking about some of the evaluation and development work that falls under Shawnee's role. She will be here during our Q&A session, so if you have questions about that, between the three of us, I hope that we'll be able to get you some answers, because I've seen some pop through. But now I want to walk us through a demonstration of the hub. So bear with me as I try to navigate a tech environment so that I can show you this space. So firstly, if you are just joining us and you've never created an account on the hub, I am sharing you a link in the chat just now for how to log in and or create an account. So if you haven't created one, feel free to create one if you'd like to try to follow along, but equally this will be recorded. So if you want to do it afterwards and have this play side by side, you are welcome to do that as well. So you've got the link there to join the hub. And I'm going to walk you through what I see on the hub. So once I have entered into the hub there, I've logged in. My page will look slightly different to yours because somebody's trusted me with admin responsibilities. But this is essentially, besides this top bar, what you will see there. So when you go to find the hub, if you are part of the program members group, you will be able to see this pop up in your drop down. If you haven't yet joined the program members group, but you have created an account, the link to that is here. So if you log in, when you click on that link, it will tell you to request to join. So please feel free to do so, because this is the main space that we are going to use to streamline our communications and maintain engagement with our members. So this space is dedicated for program members. Previously, we had award assessors on here, but we've removed them. So this is just for program members and colleagues supporting them in this work. So you can see here, we've tried to set it up. It looks slightly like Facebook, if anybody uses that. And what we use here on the main page, it pulls you up to the feed, and we will share our updates with you. So instead of sending you loads of emails, we will post regular updates on this feed here. So it's up to you whether you want to have notifications set. You can send them to your email address, or you can just check in when it's most relevant. I would recommend to set up some form of notification with you or someone on your team so that you don't miss out on anything. But equally, we will have our newsletters going out. So once those get rolling, all of our updated information will go in the corresponding newsletter as well. So you can see here, we've got our feed, and you can see some program members already asking some questions and engaging in this. Like I said, this will be the main space for updates from Student Minds, but we also have our discussion forum. So this is going to be the place where you and other program members can engage in conversation. Chanel and Charlotte have been working really diligently on developing this hub space, and they've started off with welcome and introductions. So members of our team and some of our program members have already gone on here to introduce themselves. So if you haven't already done so, please do join in. You can go and reply right away, or you can respond to somebody else if you'd like. You can reply in that way. If you'd like to engage in a conversation with other program members, you want to start something, you can go ahead and start a discussion on your own. And again, this will go out to all the program members in this group. So you can just start a new discussion thread and engage in that there for you. We also have our subgroups. So these are where your community of practice group will sit. So I'll show you very quickly what it looks like. You'll see here, we've updated the images, and you should be able to see the different groups. So if you go into them, you will have a very similar setup to the main page, but this will be specifically for example, this is Group E for these universities. So colleagues of these universities will be in this space. They'll be the ones meeting at our communities of practice, but members of our team and those who are involved in this group are welcome to post updates, ask questions. We'll also use this space to continue discussions. If you were with us last year, we used Padlet, but instead of using a separate function, we're going to try using our space here to house that discussion so you don't have to flip through different links. So all the resources that you need for your program or to improve your whole university approach on the program can be found on our hub. So that is there for you. And it's the same setup. So you'll have the feeds and then you'll also have the discussions there as well. And if you wanted to share documents and things within this space, you're also welcome to do that. I'm going to backtrack. So when you are back in the main group here, we also have our resources. And so this is where a lot of the different elements that I was saying, like the program handbook, can be found. So we've got the program handbook here and a few other resources available for you, like our journey reviews. If you weren't with us previously, or if you were and you want materials like the presentations from our previous events, all of that can be found in this resource. But if this is a bit overwhelming, I would suggest to start off by looking at the program handbook, the award handbook, and the framework, just as a starting off point to help you understand what you're getting as a program member there. The other exciting bit, if you are part of the program members group, if you've been accepted into this space, then on this drop down, you'll also have this events button. So this is what I showed in the presentation. When you click on it, it will open up to all of the events that we have going on for this session, this program year. And so you can see we've got the welcome session here, we've got our communities of practice, all of the in-person events, so those conferences, as well as some of our insight sharing sessions and our award workshops. So this link is embedded on the presentation, and we will circulate the presentation so that you'll get those through there. But have a look, join the hub and play around, get comfortable and see what is available. To find your community of practice group and the registration pages, you can also find that here under the events button. And the last place that I am going to walk you through is our news section. So this is open and available for anybody. So whether you are on the program members group or you're not, this is where we'll share different updates that we have going on. So you can see where we celebrated the funding we received, the universities who just received an award are there, and the new announcement that we have going out on the 25th of September can also be found in that space as well. So as I said, have a look, you've got the link there, go ahead and register, make your account and have a play around. This is going to be the main area where we communicate and engage with program members. So we really strongly encourage you to have all of your domain leads on this space if possible. Right. So just to verbalize or to show you the different steps, register on the hub with the link that I gave you there at the beginning. Request to join the program members group, and then once you get on, introduce yourself, say hello, engage, ask any questions that you've got available, or use the space that you have available to ask any questions you've got. Right. I think that is everything, and that's going to bring us to our Q&A session. So if I could ask my colleagues to go ahead and turn on their cameras. Hello. So for the Q&A session, the way this will operate, I see some questions coming through, and I see some that have gone directly to me. I imagine there might be some that have gone directly to other individuals. So the way that this will work, if you guys, here we go. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to input them in the chat while I'm speaking, and we do a quick round of introductions. And then we will go through and answer your questions to the best of our ability. But as I said, if we need to find any specific information, such as dates or things like that, or if we need to confirm anything with you, we will follow up with you and make sure that your questions are answered. So now that we've got Shanae joining us, I feel like it might be nice to do a brief introduction from yourself. You've just heard from Emily, and you've heard from me quite a bit. I'm sure you are excited to hear from a third voice. So Shanae, do you want to say hello really quickly?
Hi everyone, lovely to see you. I can recognise lots of names and lots of new names in the crowd as well. My name is Shanae. I am indeed one of the program managers on the University Mental Health Charter program. I've moved across into a new role focusing on evaluation and development.
Great, thank you so much for joining. So Shanae is going to support in answering questions about some of the areas of work that fall under her new evaluation and development role. As I said, Amanda's got to pop off. She's got some other work going on. The award area is quite busy this time of year. So any questions about the award, Emily and Shanae are going to tag team on that. But again, if we need to go back and clarify or get specific information, we will definitely do so before we share any information that we're not certain about with you. I will also answer any questions about the program side of that, and any structural questions about OFS, funding, or anything of that sort, Emily can also answer. So I've seen a few come through to me directly. So I'll start off with those. Emily, I don't know, did any come through to you while you were speaking?
No, I have one that I answered, which was just clarifying how many universities are going through the cohort, but I haven't had any others yet.
Great. Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and start off in this way, and I see a few coming through. So again, if you've got any more, please do send them while we're speaking. So one of the questions that I've got asked to me directly is pertaining to the communities of practice groups. So somebody said, with the communities of practice groups, can it be a different representative for each of the different meetings, depending on the theme? And the answer is yes. We've left that open-ended. Some program members have found it helpful to have continuity between the different meetings, and some have a dedicated project manager. So that might also be a reason why they'll maintain the same person. However, other universities have chosen to delegate the respective domain lead or other relevant colleagues to attend. So the answer in short is yes, it is up to you and how you what your availability is and the benefit you feel that is to your institution and to that group. We just ask that whoever is coming is ready and able to talk about your institution's work in that area. Cool. So we've got another question. Somebody said, can you please put the links in the chat? They're not clickable in the presentation. So I want to firstly say, I apologize that the links weren't sent to you while we were speaking, but I can assure you this presentation will be shared with you after this session concludes. We're going to review the recording. We're going to put some subtitles on there, and then we will publish that hopefully within the week. So all of the links that we specifically referenced on the presentation will be there. But as I said, I've shared with you the links to the hub space. So go ahead and make an account and join the program members group, because a lot of the information we covered can be found in there as well. All right, and I've got one more. So somebody said, I may have missed it, but where do I find the template for the journey review? That is a really great question. And when I showed you the resources on the hub, there's a specific resource for the journey review. I might have answered this as this question came quite a bit ago, but it is found there. If you have any questions or you need any support locating that, we will get you a direct link. You can always just email us. All right, I'm seeing a few more pop up. So I've got one here that says, can you please clarify the annual review process for award holders this year? Unclear if this is becoming a group session. Yeah, thank you so much. So for the annual report process, we are moving for that to be a group structure. So for the annual report, that is only for award holding universities. And you'll submit the template, and then you'll be invited to a group meeting with 3 to 4 other universities with an award at that time, where you can talk about your reflections, you can talk about your innovations and your challenges. We're also looking at the process for reviewing if there are any changes, any large-scale changes in your institution. And so if that is the case, then a member of our staff might reach out to do a one-to-one meeting with your institution, just to make sure that you all are supported, and if there are any risks that need some support on, we can help you through that. But more information about that can be found on the template for the annual report on the hub. All right, I'm going to move on. So we've got another question. Somebody says, do you have any advice on how we collect and manage the evidence internally against the domains and principles of good practice? Is there a tool or something that's used? Also, does the PEAT assessment get arranged and managed? If you could clarify that second part while we answer the first part, that would be really, really helpful.
I was going to ask that. I'm not sure I quite understand the second half, but yes. I think we are quite non-prescriptive in our approach. So the way that each university chooses to collate all that information can vary depending on the size, of the institution and the way in which they work. I think probably what I would recommend is to come along to the award workshop that we've got running next week, which is around a whole university approach, because that gives a really good overview about how do you work across teams and start to bring together work and find a centralized way of working across that. And I think, with that, well, that should then come some really clear and obvious ways of collating documents, evidence, etc. Because once you've formed that really clear team and have a really clear structure and way of working and taking a whole university approach, the kind of logistics of it should follow. The award workshop next week is happening on Tuesday from 2 till 4. So I will just share with you the link actually in the chat, where you can see the Eventbrite link for all of the events that we're running, and you'll be able to sign up. So bear with me a minute while I share that. And in the meantime, Chaston may have received a reply as to the second part of the question.
Yes, peer assessment. So how does the peer assessment get arranged and managed?
Take that one, yeah, just while I'm listening the note. So just to add on to Emily's comment about the award workshop, the second award workshop might be helpful as well for the person that asked that question, and the award handbook. So there are some we've made updates to the award handbook, so there's some really helpful guidance in there as well. So I would direct you towards those. But yeah, definitely agree with Emily that first award workshop will be really helpful, as well as engaging with your communities of practice. There may be some award holders in there, people at different stages of the process, and be really, really helpful to sort of, that could be a good discussion topic, for example, on the hub. Perfect example of a good question there. With regards to the peer assessment aspect, so our assessment team, made up of 3 assessors, have a range of expertise. So our student voice assessor, learning and teaching, strategic and services, and a clinician. The assessment team will review the self-assessment submission and the student-led report. We have a very lengthy, very interesting meeting where we pull out all of the key themes and start to put together the agendas for the on-site visit. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, happy to answer any follow-up. But the on-site visit, if that was something you were wondering about as well, you'll have the dates for those really far in advance, so you'll be able to start pulling together the relevant people. It's a lot of people across the organisation to pull together for 2 days, so you'll have those dates really far in advance, and we can give you lots of advice through the handbook. Amanda will be on hand to support you in that process, and we have a specific award workshop on those 2 bits of the process as well.
Great, thank you. Right, so we've got another question about the annual report and the deadline. So their question is, the deadline is the 31st of January for all. We thought it was 1 year from when we got the award, which for this institution was March. Yeah, so that's a really, really great question. Because we have more universities going through the award process, typically we held award panels in the winter time, which fell somewhere between February and March time. And then we had typically what is a summer award panel, which falls around August time. As we move into this cohort model, that might change. So I might defer to my colleagues on that if they know at this point. But in terms of the annual report for this year, to kind of ensure that we have universities grouped with enough to be able to engage specifically about continual development. We are having the report due on the 31st of January, and we're going to have the meeting, that group meeting, held in February. So it will be roughly 1 year, though I do apologize that it's not exact, it's not perfect, but it is something for us as we continue to grow and develop and we get more institutions engaging in the award process that might alter. But I am pleased to say that the annual report process has been streamlined. So it's 4 questions on your future progress, your previous actions, your challenges, and your achievements. It is 3 questions on any changes that your institution has had, and then 2 questions for you to bring to the meeting, which is 1 innovation and 1 challenge. So hopefully it's not a massive undertaking. But as I said, for institutions who will have an award during that period, or will have an annual report expected around the 31st of January, we will be in contact with you as soon as possible so that there's no delay in that. But I would encourage you to have a look at the resource on the hub there for more information. And if you need help finding it, you can always reach out, or you can post on the hub space. Cool. Somebody said, some of our online training can be beneficial to staff across the university. Are the online resources intended for domain leads, or is this something any staff or partner uni can access? That is a great question. It's very warm up in Glasgow, so apologies. Yes, so we have opened up the online insight sessions. While we have we can accommodate for a larger group size, we still want to encourage sharing within your institution, and being strategic in who you invite to that session. So we want to encourage, the relevant domain lead to attend, but also we want to encourage the dissemination of learnings. A lot of the reports that we have planned are reports that are also found publicly available, as well as the slides will be shared online. So while we want to open it up, we still want to make sure that it is a manageable size for us to be able to engage in group conversations and in breakout spaces. And in terms of staff from partner universities, we want to limit that to just the program member institution to attending that there. Yeah, Emily.
Yeah, what I would say on this is that with the Library of Learning, as we start to add more resources on there, we've got a lot of case studies and videos, potentially some podcasts as well. So I think those kind of resources are going to be the types of things that you can share really well across teams. And I think it's up to the institutions to sort of identify those core strategic leads and people who might really find that helpful. For example, we've got a session that we've recorded that will be up available very soon on the whole university approach. So although we don't have the capacity to invite sort of everyone to come to the workshop, what we'd like to see is actually that a couple of individuals from an institution come along to the whole university approach workshop. They therefore then can identify who the strategic leads are across their institution who might be most benefit from that information. And then they can access the resources on the Library of Learning and then share that across their teams. So I think it's about like institutions really kind of identifying where's the gaps here in our teams, who really needs to know about this, actually, who are we feeling like this is missing. And, some those case studies will be across a lot of different areas of work. So some are going to be focused quite specifically around maybe like the learn area or about transitions, for example. So it's about identifying those members of staff and teams within that area that are really going to make the biggest difference. So that's really the intent with things like the resources of the Library of Learning is we're really recognizing and responding to the feedback from members saying, it's really helpful to have those sessions to come to, but because of the size of our program members, we can't invite a lot of representation from each university, but we want to make sure that we're giving you the resources you need to really disseminate that information and share that learning within your teams in the way. So we're really responding to feedback as well. So if you've got things that you feel are missing or you'd like to see developed, please just let us know, because it's new developing this Library of Learning. I've had a lot of feedback already, so we know our initial thoughts around where those key areas are that are needed, but actually, really responsive to feedback. So keep telling us, keep talking to us about what you want to see on there, and we can reach out to members within the programme and also sort of some key partners within the HE sector to kind of look at actually, where can we bring that growth and development work to the members possible. And as we say, those conversation points on the community forum on the hub is like the perfect place to have those discussions and learn from one another.
Great, thank you so much. Moving on, we've got another couple questions coming through about the annual report. I would encourage, if you have any other questions about that, see the resource on the hub and look at the information there. We've got some information about its purpose, what you can expect, how many individuals can attend the meetings, when to submit. And for institutions who have one coming up, we will assure you that that information will be given to you in due course. So I'm gonna, for the sake of time, just keep us moving. Somebody had a question and they said, have I got it right that Emily said those universities who are undertaking the award assessment this academic year will be following the current framework and not the reviewed framework? Their institution is in cohort B, so they just wanted to double check on that.
Yeah, that's correct. So any institution that is going through the award assessment this year will be working off of that the framework that is current, and then any universities that are going through the cohorts in the following year, so 25, 26, will be using the new framework. I also had a question along those lines from somebody about cohorts, so I will read that out now. So somebody said, can I just check with cohort A and B timelines that you showed earlier that it's which year it is? So the cohort that I've shown is the one that's in 25, 26. So the dates this year are very slightly different. First time we've done it, and we kind of had to just tweak it a little bit. So the dates that I've shown you there are for the 25, 26 onwards. So they should remain precisely the same. Any changes that we make will be made within the next month, and then they will be locked down because we'll then be taking deposits, etc., for universities who are going on to those cohorts. So, and as Chastin said earlier, she was referring to kind of like that timeline of like whether annual reports fall exactly within a year or not. There is going to be a bit of shift as we move from a bespoke timeline into a cohort model. And this is one of the reasons for it, because a year for everyone was different, and that was proving quite challenging, because people's reviews didn't come in line with, the award panels, for example. So moving into a new cohort, we're going to have a really clear group of just 2 groups of universities go through award assessments each year, and then 2 groups will meet that point where they're at 12 months, for example, or when they're at their stage to review. So it's going to bring things really much more in line and seamless. But there is going to be that little point at the moment where we're shuffling across from a bespoke timeline into cohort model, where there will be a little bit of staggered situations for some universities. But moving forward into the next year or so, we should see that completely streamlined from now onwards, which would be great.
Cool, thank you. I'm going to move on. Somebody asked about where they can find the upcoming events on the hub. So I'm going to share a link in the chat there. Again, to access this, you need to be a registered member of the hub, and then you need to request to join the program members group. So I sent the links up above. If you've done that, then you should be able to see that link. If you're not part of the program members group, we've disabled that just so we can keep it protected for our program members. Let's see. Somebody said, do we need to attend all of the events if we have already received the award? I plan to attend the majority regardless, but I can't remember if all were mandatory. Shanae, do you want to answer?
I think that's an interesting question. I think just speaking generally about the events, I would say as many as you can, of course, because they're always, things are growing and changing all the time, and new insights. With the workshops, you might find it interesting to attend them, to see some of the updates to the handbook, but it's not mandatory unless you're sort of going for reassessment. Reassessment is something that we're developing over the next year, so it'll be possibly a slightly different process for universities who have already been awarded. I can't say yes or no to that. I don't know if anyone else has got a firm answer, but I think it's a good idea if you can. And there'll be a lot that you can share with our other members. So as an award holding university, one of the requirements for holding that award is to engage and share practice and support the other members as well. So to engage with the programme. So I'm leaning on yes, if you can.
Thank you. That was a really great answer. And to follow that up again, if you've already gotten an award, none of the events are mandatory. The only mandatory events are the award workshops, and those are for currently universities who have formally expressed that they will be undertaking an award assessment. So everything else is optional. But yeah, as Shanae said, engagement is great. We would love it if you could. And equally, there is a possibility where I or a member of our staff will reach out for you guys for further development for our events or some of our other resources like the Library of Learning. So keep that in mind. We'd love to see you. And also we will be developing our events with insights that we've gathered from awards, and we will try not to have duplication at those events where we can. So hopefully it will be new and a diverse group of events and information each time. Right, somebody had asked, and just keeping an eye on time, we've got 4 minutes. So somebody had asked, if you hold an award with condition, which we've now changed to award in progress, we'll be putting in a resubmission to report on that condition in January. Do you also need to take part in the annual report for this cycle? So if you've not gotten an award that has been ratified yet by the award panel, then you will not be held responsible for undertaking the award, the annual report. As I said, those universities who will be are current award holding universities, and we'll be in contact with all of them in due course. So hopefully you guys feel confident in knowing what is expected of you and when. But if you have any other questions about your specific timeline, I'd say because of time, go ahead and send us an email. If I could ask one of my colleagues to type the charter email in the chat box, that might be helpful. All right. There's a question about the changes in the framework being clearly marked. Emily, you had mentioned that there's going to be an addition. Do you want to touch on that really quickly?
Yeah, I can do. So in the new framework, there's a really clear introduction session, which is section, sorry, which has been written by the framework researchers. They're just outlining what the key changes are and also the rationale for why they have been made. And in addition, a sort of a more in-depth look at like what the framework review has been and what it has entailed, what the process was that the researchers and the authors have been through to review that. So you can really clearly see at the start, it's really nicely highlighted because it is quite a rather a long document. And for those who are not as familiar with it as we are, you might not spot where those are. So they've been really clearly picked out and quoted so you can understand exactly what changes have been made, why they've been made, and what impact that might have for universities, and some recommendations around which areas to look at.
Great. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions come through. So this is last call for any questions. Otherwise, I will go ahead and move us on. I don't know if before either of you, Emily or Shanae, want to leave us with parting words before we move to wrapping up. I'll give you a moment if so. If not, we'll continue on.
Thanks. I love parting word, Chester. I just wanted to say a really warm welcome to those of you who have joined us, and also just a welcome back to those programme members that have been with us for a while or just for the year. But I think from my point of view, I'm really excited about this year. It's, with the expansion of the team, we've got a lot of opportunity to really develop and delve into some of these key issues that are raised in the framework with programme members. So I'm just really looking forward to that opportunity to really, bring this enhanced offer to the programme. And yeah, quite excited to see what's coming next, but really to just echo what I said earlier and really invite you to be a part of shaping this with us. I think, we see this really as a community of, community within the sector. We're kind of, I guess, just the custodians or the holders of this space for you all to connect with one another. And, please do use the hub to do that. Team of Student Minds don't know the answer to everything, but we're just here to try and help you find those answers and to connect you with one another and to connect you with some of that research and that information and practice within the sector. So yeah, that's, I'm really excited for the year to come. We hope to hear from you, and really looking forward to seeing what happens and develops in this space.
Great. Shanae, I saw you were going to unmute yourself. We don't want to remove that opportunity for you to leave us with some parting words before I wrap us up.
I think Emily has definitely said it all, but yeah, really, really excited. Thanks, Chastin, for hosting this, and good to see you all, and particularly excited about the award workshop coming up next week on the whole university approach. Hope to see lots of you there, 2 to 4, and looking forward to sharing the Library of Learning with you as that gets underway. And any ideas that you've got for that Library of Learning, anything you'd like to see, please do email in at the charter inbox, and we'll be taking that forwards. But yeah, thank you everyone.
Great, thank you guys. So in the last couple minutes, I'm going to wrap us up. I've got some key actions for you if you've been tuning in or you're just joining us. So firstly, if you've not already, make an account on the hub and join the program members group. Get your other domain leads and colleagues working in this area for you or with you on the hub too. And once you've done that, join our program members group. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Chanel has started a really lovely and warm welcome introduction post, so please do go say hello if you haven't had an opportunity. Meet some of your other peers. register for our events. A lot are available, and I will on the next slide show you what's coming up again. But go have a look on the event link that I posted in the chat. That's there for you. Join your specific community practice subgroup and start engaging, sharing practice, how institutions got started, maybe asking how you guys are going into Freshers Week. Whatever suits that environment, that space is for you, so utilize it. And then if you are a program member without an award and you'd like to take part in the Journey Review pilot, have a look at the template on the hub, complete it, and follow the instructions for sending it in to submit your interest and take part. Again, we've only got 4 spaces, so try to get that in as soon as possible if you are interested in joining us. And we've got a couple events coming up. So as Shawnee said, we've got our award workshop, which is happening in 1 week from today. So please do join that. It will be talking about the whole university approach. So if you're just starting out, although it's listed as an award workshop, that is a really great place for you to start thinking about what a whole university approach looks like for you. And you'll get to speak to some experts already who helped craft the framework. So you'll be able to ask some questions in that space as well. We've got our first in-person conference or event on the 26th of November. So go ahead and make your reservations now. Things book up. We've got the location reserved and all the information up to date on the Eventbrite. More information will come as to what will be the agenda, but go ahead and secure that spot for you. And if you have interested colleagues, go ahead and add them to the wait list. And our other event that we've got coming up is our first insight sharing session. So that's going to be on the 29th of October. And we're going to be looking at the Suicide Safer guidance. So really excited to have some of the colleagues who have worked on that join us and speak about their work. So go ahead and register your space there. And don't forget, we are going to be sharing and celebrating your program membership with us. So we're going to have a moment to talk about who's joining us this year and what you've got to look for. So join us in celebrating that. We are going to be lifting our embargo. So we hope that you will use some of the lovely materials we've created. Pointing to my screen as if you can see it, maybe it's here. We've got some really great images that you can use on social media. We've got some content you could use for newsletters or in your social media. So if you're tight on time, but you want to celebrate being a part of the program member group, then go ahead and use those. We've also created a nice neat little badge for you, so if you want to add that to some of your comms or as your email signature to show and celebrate that you are one of the University Mental Health Charter program members, we have that for you there. The link is on the slide, but if you give me 2 seconds, I can copy that and share it with you. All of the comms related information, all of the images, different sizes, different options are available for you to use. So you don't even have to take the time to develop them. You can just send them over to your comms team or whoever is in charge of that and ask them to share and celebrate with us on the 25th of September. And without further ado, we are at time. So I want to thank you guys for spending your afternoon hearing about all of the developments we've got going on. And I don't want to ruin all of the great words that Emily has shared, but I am so excited for what's to come this year. And I wish you all a wonderful program year ahead. If you have any questions about anything shared today, we'll post this on the hub, but you can always email us in the charter inbox that was sent above. So I will let you go and continue on with your day. If you've got sunshine, go enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you at some of our events coming up. Bye, guys.